Hi, everyone, and welcome to NASCAR Race Hub. I'm Steve Burns. Last year, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was voted the sport's most popular driver for the 8th consecutive year. Although the last 2 years have been largely forgettable, Junior Nation is as strong as ever. The son of the iconic Man in Black, 7-time champion Dale Earnhardt, Dale Jr. has regained some of his swagger. After driving the number 8 Bud car to 17 wins and 3 top 5 championship finishes for DEI, Dale Earnhardt Jr. left his stepmother's team at the end of 2007 in pursuit of earning a championship with Hendrick Motorsports. Expectations were sky high. The sport's biggest star driving for the sport's most dominant team. But in his first 3 seasons in the 88, Dale Jr. amassed just 1 win and made the chase once, finishing 12th. For 2011, looking for a spark, Rick Hendrick paired Jr. with veteran Jeff Gordon crew chief Steve Letarte. The duo quickly hit it off, earning the pole for the Daytona 500 and nearly winning at Martinsville and Charlotte. They've been as high as 3rd in the standings, but have recently fallen down to 10th. And until Dale Jr. gets back to winning form, Junior Nation won't be happy, leading many to wonder and speculate about his desire and his talent. I've read a lot of interviews that you've done, and I've seen a lot of interviews, and I understand about celebrities. You know, people want to know what Dale Earnhardt Jr. thinks or, you know, what he feels about a certain topic. But it almost like when you get interviewed, it's not really an interview as much as it is people trying to psychoanalyze you.
Yeah.
Does it seem that way to you?
I guess so. I mean, and I don't stand on that side of the fence and see it that way because I feel pretty normal and I feel like, you know, I have pretty normal conversations with people, and I don't really see the celebrity buzz, and I don't really realize the level of fame, and I don't categorize individuals like this guy's famous, this guy's here, this guy's here.
Yeah.
And I feel like when people start asking me questions or I want to do a sit down and print interview or something like that, I get a little more guarded as the interview goes, kind of because I get nervous about being too open. You want to have some privacy, and you don't want to be a blabbermouth either and act like, you know, you're just
Like what you say is important.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so if somebody wants to know my opinion, I appreciate that, but I don't feel that special, and I just like going and driving my car and having fun racing.
I don't think it's fair sometimes when an athlete is real passionate, you go, oh, he loves the sport, as opposed to a guy who's quietly effective. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I think that, and I think that you would find that every driver in the series is passionate. Some people are introverts, and some people are, you know, outward about how they feel, and you know, kind of like Carl. If he falls out of the race, he'll go up in the booth and talk and have fun, you know, and some guys react differently. They want to go home, they're mad or whatever, and I think I'm mostly an introvert when it comes to most things. I have, you know, everybody has their days, I guess.
You're a fan of other sports, and this is a question I've never asked a driver. Top-level athletes have a bad day. You know, quarterback might throw too many interceptions, a pitcher might get rocked. Do you ever have a bad day? Do drivers ever, like, you know, you don't feel on top of your game? Does that happen?
I feel the same before every race. I've never went into a race where I thought I ain't got it together today, or my brain's not, you know, put together right or whatever. But during the actual race itself, you know, you'll do things and maybe you'll make a mistake, and then you'll make another mistake, and they'll kind of pile up, and when the race is done, you look back and you go, well, yeah, I made a lot of mistakes that race, where the week before it was smooth sailing. So there's days where you can foul up a lot. I think concentration level in a race car really is above any other sport. If you don't really have it going for you that day and you're not really focused and not appreciating and respecting that, you're going to have trouble.
And I was curious because we think in terms of the car so often, you know, that the car won't turn or what, you know.
Yeah. For the most part, and I don't know if everybody's going to agree with this, but for the most part, the car is the key factor. If a guy's not running well, in most cases, it's the car, you know, and the crew chiefs or other people might say it's more the driver, but I think for the most part, you know, the deciding factor is the equipment you're driving, you know, and how to, you know, whether it'll go around the corner as good as the other guy's car. The percentage of decent, talented drivers is much larger than it used to be years ago, and at least in my opinion, there's more talented guys in the sport and guys that can win races than there's ever been.
on our show, The Hub, a couple weeks ago, we were showing this graphic. You know, Dale Jr.'s finishes over the last 5 races. We're outside the top 10, and I got lit up on Twitter. You know, people were like, "You stabbed Dale Jr. in the back," and I'm like, "No, I want him to make the chase."
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty amazing how dedicated your fans are.
Oh yeah, I mean, and you know, it's these things like Twitter that come around and gives them a new platform to speak from, and they can be more and more vocal than they used to be years ago. So you kind of got to be careful where you step. But
Yeah.
you know, they're just being a football fan. I would going to football games. When I'll sit there and see people that at face value look out of control, but in the moment, man, you know, I mean, it's everybody's kind of, you know, everybody can get to that level. I think it's healthy for the sport. Anything that the fans do where they can plug into the sport, communicate with drivers, with you, with anyone, you know, involved, it's good for them. It makes them feel like they're, you know, it makes them a part of it, and that's what it needs to be.
One of the things that I've really been encouraged by, you know, your foundation has done some really good things with Make-A-Wish, and I know you guys have a promotion coming up where they can win, I think it's win Dale Jr.'s Camaro. Talk about that a little bit, and specifically who that will help.
I went to the plant in Canada where they build the Camaros, and we were there to drive the first 3 off the line, and Rick drove the first 2 off the line. I drove the third one off the line, and before the end of the day, I found out that I had bought the car. We do a auction and kind of a party concert thing every year in Charlotte to raise money for Make-A-Wish. We decided to give this Camaro to the auction, and it's WinDaleJunior'sRide.com, and it ends September 1st. Raffle tickets are $25 a piece. And the reason why I got involved with Make-A-Wish was basically because I was just following my father's footsteps. He was a big supporter.
What stage of your career would you say you're at? And when I say that, I mean, you know, some guys will say, man, I'm better than I've been.
Yeah.
You know, I'm smarter than I've been.
Yeah.
I'm curious how you see that.
I wonder sometimes if I could go back, knowing what I know now, and drive again in 1998. And, you know, you'll think about sometimes races that you let slip away or races that got away from you, and you wonder whether, with what you know now, whether you could go back and have done better or done it differently. For example, I won the last Nationwide Series championship we won. We finished second the last 3 races in a row, and I'd have liked to have won one of them races, you know. And I think back to myself, man, if I could go back, would I have been better, faster, or was I driving? You know, I can't even remember whether I was a good driver back then or how, you know, whether the car was carrying me or what. I feel like I'm about halfway into my career. You know, I feel like I could go another 10 years. I think I'd have to really ask myself a lot of questions once I got to that age, whether I was being productive or wasting anybody's time, or whether I was still having fun. All those things will pop up once you get older, but for the most part, I feel like I'm about halfway through.
How about what stage of life you're in? You know, I'll give you an example. I was driving home from work the other night, and I was listening to NPR, and I was like, damn, I'm getting old. You know, I'm either listening to music or sports. I'm listening to NPR, you know, I'm listening to the news.
Yeah, there's things that make me, you know, think back on how I used to party all the time. I still like to party. I still like to get with my friends and try to pull an all-nighter. We can't pull them like we used to, but I still like to do that, and I still get the bug to cut up and have fun. But I think back, you know, 5-10 years ago, how we did it all the time, and just can't even imagine it. I haven't changed my life a whole lot in the last 8 years, and I don't want to change it that much. I like being. I'm no real interest in being married. You know, I'd like to have kids one day, but that's not something that I got planned out. I like driving my race car. I feel like I know what my responsibilities are, and I got all that sort of uniform and organized, and I feel good with what I'm doing. And as long as I'm racing under a contract with an owner, I'm going to keep it the way it is right now. And once that kind of changes and the world's different to me as far as whether I want to go race for myself or slip back into the Nationwide Series and have some fun before I hang it up, whatever, you know, I'll change it up when I get there.